Over here, I have QR code for my YouTube tutorials. So if you guys want to see more of me, you can check that out. Here are my itch games. If you want to see past projects I've worked on, some of them are multiplayer, so it's good for inspiration. It sounds like this is kind of working.
I think it's better.
A little bit, yeah. Cool, cool. Okay. This is the workshop repo, which you all should probably have, hopefully. And then this is another multiplayer repo. It's a little bit more advanced. It's a first-person shooter deathmatch game, and it has more advanced features if you guys are curious, like what else you can do with this sort of multiplayer technology. Okay, 2:45. So I'm Travis. I'm a software engineer. I've been using Godot for about 3 years. These are all multiplayer games that I've worked on. None of them are released. They're all prototypes. But you can check them out. They should be all on my itch page. Or these two are YouTube videos. And they're kind of relevant. So check them out if you want. Over here on the left is a multiplayer game that I just did for the Godot Wild Jam. It's a multiplayer car demolition derby game. And that was pretty fun. I made that with Jonathan, my assistant over here. He will help if anyone gets stuck. And then up here on the top right, this is the advanced multiplayer repo that I was showing that I said was like optional for you to download. I decided not to do this for the workshop because there's a lot that goes into a first-person shooter deathmatch game, and we're going to stick with the basics. But this is all open source if you guys want to check it out. So, okay. During the process when I was learning how to do multiplayer, there are these YouTube tutorials that were super helpful. This is by Devlog Logan, a really great one. And Battery Acid Dev also has some videos that are super helpful. But also, you are now in a room with people who care about multiplayer games in Godot. So definitely use each other for help and lean on your community. So if you guys get stuck, feel free to reach out to me or your neighbors. There are also 2 other multiplayer talks. One of them is by Chris. He's going to talk about adding multiplayer to an already made single-player game. And there's another talk by James, who is going to be talking about like more advanced networking stuff for multiplayer and scalable solutions. Okay, so our schedule is I made a sample project. It looks kind of like this, but it's single player, and we're going to add multiplayer to it. And we're all going to follow along, and it's going to be great. And then once that's done, we can talk about more advanced stuff that's optional. If you guys have any questions, we can go over them. If you have any off-topic questions, if you could just write them down and then we can hit them at the end, that'd be great. And hopefully by the end of this, you'll have the confidence to start making multiplayer games. How many people, can I get a raise of hands, how many people have made a game in Godot? Okay, sweet. How many people have made multiplayer games? Okay, awesome. Good to know. This is the Godot docs, which is also super helpful. I'm sure you all are familiar with this, but Godot has great documentation. Okay, what are we doing here today? You all are familiar with Mario Kart. Mario Kart's mostly a local co-op split-screen game. That's not what we're doing. We're doing online multiplayer. So you all are on 2 separate computers playing over a network. Could be local, it could be, California and East Coast. That's what we're focusing on today. How do you share a game over the network? What we're going to set up is a server and host. So that's one person who says, I'm going to host the game, and then you all are going to connect to me and join, and I'll do all the management stuff. And then all the clients who join the server, they're going to send their inputs and messages and stuff, and the server is going to say, here's what the game looks like. Also make your computer look like this. So that's basically what we're going to set up here. If anyone has questions or if I'm going too fast, definitely let me know. Cool. All right, we're now going to add multiplayer to the sample repo. So does everyone have that up?
I got a couple
errors about plugins when
What error are we talking about?
let me open the widget and I'll.
There is one plugin that I included. It's called the Tile Instances add-on. It's by someone, and it basically lets you run 2 instances of the game, but side by side. Just a little helper.
When I go into plugins, it's not listed there. It's in the, yeah, so it's saying dialogic. Can't.
Oh yeah. Should be no dialogic. And as a bonus, this workshop is probably like less than 100 lines of code, so that's pretty sweet, right? Okay.
I did the wrong one, sorry.
Oh yeah, no worries, no worries. Okay, so here we go. Everyone has the game open, right? Cool. Okay. So if you run it, you'll see something that looks like this. You can move with WASD, W-A-S-D, and that's about it, pretty much. Okay, so this is a single player game. We're gonna make it multiplayer. If anyone gets lost, I have instructions step by step in this GitHub repo for the workshop. If you look at the README, it's right here. So I'm gonna also follow along this, and we're gonna do that. So one thing that is interesting with multiplayer is, personally, I usually have my player as a part of the level when I make games, because it's like a child of the level. Since we're doing multiplayer, we're gonna have lots of players. I keep the players separate. So I put my players in the players manager node, and then they just exist in the level separately. Okay. So first we're going to set up testing locally on your one computer, because we're building software that's going to run on multiple computers, but right now we only have one, so we're going to test it locally. If you go up to debug and customize run instances in the top left, you can set up your Godot editor to run 2 instances of your game. So you have to check this box here, multiple instances, and add 2. And then the next time you press run, actually, you first have to go to the game tab and uncheck embed on next play. And that will make it so that the game runs kind of in the pre-4.4 way. And then it will run the game twice. And that is helpful.
What are we unchecking?
So in the game tab, if you go to these 3 dots here, you can disable embedding the game.
Here it is.
And the tile instances add-on is in this repo, and that lets it spawn the 2 windows side by side. And that's helpful when you're prototyping, because otherwise you have to move it every single time, and it gets really annoying. What's that? Are you on 4.4? I guess you could try running the. Oh yeah, okay. All right. So we can now run the game, 2 instances of it, but they're still both single player. So let's now figure out how to connect computers over the network. So we're going to set up a host and client relationship. We're going to use this thing called ENet. ENet is a library that provides reliable UDP networking. And Godot has high-level wrappers for the ENet library, which is available. You can see the docs for it. I have a link for that. So that's cool. Reliable UDP. That's a great question. I don't know too much about ENet. Apparently this Bespin is it. But that's what it says it is. So Somehow that works. Basically, UDP works as like, in UDP, there's not really a way for you to say like, oh, I know that you got my message. In UDP, you just kind of send it. I assume that ENet has some sort of way to send like acknowledgments or something, but I don't know too much about it. I think at the base it's UDP, and then they have some sort of like synac for TCP on top of that. But I think it's only UDP.
Because you can switch between both. Unreliable for some
Yeah.
messages, unreliable for others. So they built a little handshake on top of UDP.
Yeah. So there are reliable options, or you can do just raw, unreliable messages, yeah. Okay, so we're gonna set that up. Let's do that. Let's create that. So in the gametree.tscn, does everyone know what that is? It is in components in the file system. Can everyone see this all right too? Is that good? Yeah? Okay. We're gonna add a node here. And I'm gonna call it server interface. And then we're gonna add 2 nodes underneath this. And one of them is gonna be called ENet server. And the other one will be called server connector. That's just like a nice way to organize our server code. So it's very clean and organized. These 2 nodes, the ENet server node is going to be responsible for creating an ENet server, and the server connector node is going to be responsible for joining an existing server. Okay, let's attach a script to the ENet server node. You right-click Attach Script, and we can just call it ENet server. I like to give my scripts class names. So I'm just going to call this one ENet server as well. And let me look at my finished project. So in the finished completed branch, also, yeah, I should mention this. So right now we're on the main branch, which has no multiplayer, but I also made a branch on this repo called finished product, and that has multiplayer finished in it. So if you get lost or you need to reference that, you can look there. Anyways, we're gonna make a function called start server. And in this function, we're going to create a new variable called network. And we're going to create a new ENet multiplayer peer. And this is going to allow us to use the multiplayer API to interact with our server that we're creating.
Where does that object come from? Is it just built into Godot?
Yeah, that's built into Godot. Here's the docs for it. And then on this newly created network variable, we're going to call the create server function. And we're going to have to pass in a port as well as the number of max players. And while we're at it, let's also add input arguments to this function. So when we call start server, we're going to call it with a port, which is an integer, and the number of max players, which is also an integer. So what this function does is it creates a peer, and then it says this peer is going to be a server. So it calls the create server function on that peer, and that's how you create a server in 2 lines of code. Pretty sweet. But we also want to store this. And we can store this in our multiplayer singleton, which is accessible by any node in Godot. So we're just going to type multiplayer.multiplayerPeer and set that equal to our newly created network. And that way we can reference that later if we need to.
The multiplayer singleton, is that a pre-built singleton?
Yeah, so that's part of, I guess, the engine. It's accessible from, I believe this is just the node class right here.
Because mine's starting there.
And yeah, so it's just a singleton. I guess it's like a global way to access the multiplayer API. Cool. So now we have a function for starting a server. Let's add a script to the server connector. And we're going to create a function called connect to server. And for this one, we're going to pass in a host IP, which is a string, and the port, which is also an integer. And we're going to do something very similar when we created the server. We're going to make an ENet multiplayer peer. But this time, we will call the create client function on it. And we'll pass in the host IP and the port. And we will also store this in the multiplayer singleton. And I'm also going to add some print statements here. So how this is going to work is when the player who says, hey, I'm going to host the server, they're going to completely ignore this server connector node. They're not going to touch it at all. They're only going to use the ENet server node and call the start server on it. And then for all the clients who are going to join that host, they're going to completely ignore the ENet server node, and they're just going to look at this server connector node because they're the one connecting to the server. Does that make sense? Cool.
I have a question.
Yeah.
In both the connector and the server, you're setting multiplayer.multiplayer-peer to network.
Yep.
Are they not overriding each other?
So the reason they don't override each other is because server connector is only going to be called by clients, and ENet server is only going to be called by the host. And since they're on separate computers,
Separate singletons?
yeah, separate singletons. That's a good question. Okay. Also, if you do want to do this on the network, you will probably have to port forward if you want people from other IPs to connect to you. So that is something to consider. Okay.
Is that in your advanced one?
Is what in there?
The port forwarding?
So port forwarding is the thing you have to do on your router, on your network router, and that just pretty much like opens it up so that you can say like, I'm okay with people connecting to me on this port. So it's not entirely cyber secure. Something to consider.
But it's not something we have to affect on the game.
Yeah, the game is unaffected by that. And since you're on your local machine, you don't have to worry about it because you're already connected to yourself, kind of. Okay. We're also going to, on the server connector, we're going to listen for when the multiplayer singleton emits a signal. And that signal is connected to server. So we're going to connect that to a function we're defining right now. This signal has no input parameters. Okay. So yeah, we're going to listen for when the multiplayer singleton says, hey, you're connected to a server. And then when we are connected, we're just going to print out, hey, you got connected. Very cool. Then our next step is we're going to create a script for the game tree, which is going to connect our UI front end to the server connector and the ENet server starter. So if you just add a script to the game tree, you can call it game tree. Okay. Let's get a reference to our start connect menu. So if you click and then hold Control and drag it in, you can get a reference to it, like that. And we'll also create a ready function. And we also want to get references to our ENet server and server connector. Grab both of them. Nope, it's only one. Okay. So now we have references to the GUI front end, or the connect menu, and then our two network nodes that we created. And let's connect signals coming from the start connect menu. So there's a signal called GUI underscore, or what are the signals called? Oh. Not what I thought it was called. Oh wait, I wanted the GUI manager. Yeah, let's get a reference to GUI manager instead. Sorry, guys.
Just from here.
There we go. So now we have a reference to the GUI manager and the two server nodes. We can connect from the signal coming from the GUI manager.
That's gonna take me a lot of
Hold it down, right?
a lot of time actually.
The click and drag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always learn cool stuff watching other people.
Start dragging.
If you forget to hold Control, drag, hold it active, that. Like how you were trying to grab the whole, if you just grab it without pressing it, and then drag.
And then press it before you drop it. Yeah. Oh, sweet.
We may have
You have to be on the Godot tools with it.
Okay, so we are going to connect the signal from the GUI that says, I'm the GUI and I want to host a game. And we're going to connect it to our ENet server start server function that we just wrote. And now whenever you press the host game button on the connection menu, it'll start a server using those settings. And we're also going to do that for joining the game.
Yeah, I deleted the first one. He dragged it the wrong ones.
This one. Same deal.
Oh, I had it. It's up here.
Oh, my bad.
Okay. I think that's everything we need for our first test. If you run the game and then walk over to the start menu, because that's the thing you have to do, and you press host on one computer, you'll get an error.
Guys, do you mind just showing the ENet server.gd?
Yeah, no problem. There might be a bug in it. So let's all take a look. Let's see, start menu, host game. Oh, sorry, my bad. Oh, my bad again.
You have to pass parameters to start server.
Is that what it is?
You have a port in MultiplayerSpawner.
Oh, I do. Wait, no, that's right, right?
GUI hook game is just passing in port, not MultiplayerSpawner.
Oh. All right, yeah, let's get rid of that max players then, and we'll create a local variable called max players. We'll set it to like 16. That's probably what the error is. I'm also going to put a print statement here so I can just see starting server on port. A port. Okay. Is ENet server good for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, so if we press play now, everything should hopefully be connected. If we waddle over to the start menu, you'll see that the host on the left, I just clicked the host button. And in the console, it printed that we're starting the server. And then on the right, I hit the join button. And it says connecting to localhost and connected to server. Does everyone see connected to server on their machine? Yep. Here's our game tree.
You open the server script again?
Yeah.
No, I did.
Should we give a game tree?
The ENet servers.
Jeez.
Server connector after that.
You just said.
And then server connector.
This is.
That's all right. This is about the most code we're writing. So we're almost done. It is pretty sweet, yeah. When I was learning Unity, I was like, how do I do this? Like, that was tough. Okay. Are we good with ENet server? Yeah? Okay.
When I see server connector one more time.
Server connector it is.
I'm trying to see if I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Just a columns on plus.
Just create the client and
Yep. So you make a new peer. You call the create client function on it. We store it in the singleton. And then we just connect to listen to when the multiplayer singleton says that we've connected. And then I just print out, you're connected to the server.
Well, everything I pretty much did is in secret. Couldn't tell you. Actually, I found out I was supposed to see. So it was like move, just arrows to move over. Strategically group these people. I click on this one. Start on the first button.
Okay. How's everyone doing?
No.
Thumbs up?
The signals are just like
You could just either.
Yeah, so the signals from GUI Manager,
Get close to it.
they just pass in the host IP and port from that menu that I made. And also, so everyone knows, localhost is the IP host name of your own machine. So when I say that you're connecting to localhost, it's basically just saying connect to your own computer.
That's fine. Is it expected that the chat UI is going to have an error? Toggle, editing toggle connect had to comment out.
It's absolutely literally.
That might be my fault.
So it's not. 93%.
We'll fix that later. Yeah. Yeah. And I'll take a look too.
Just like watch it.
Oh, if you get rid of the parentheses in the connection. Yeah, so you just want one
Building my own.
parentheses to close it.
I barely ever.
Oh, I see.
I don't know
Yeah,
doing it unless I like do something.
Yep.
And then like the computer's
That should hopefully.
it just lies over it. The battery just the computer goes in a fetal position. The battery's just like.
Sweet.
And I'm like, what's going on with my computer? Like, oh, something's like, you're just gonna restart it. Oh, it's saying I get errors.
Portals. Oh, the buttons? Yes.
I have some.
For the client.
Oh,
Oh,
Huh. That might be different.
character. Oh, yeah, that's right.
We'll figure it out. Yeah, we'll get there. I'm not sure. All right. Cool. So I think everyone can now say that they've created a server and they can connect to it.
Oh, that's fine.
Next, we're going to spawn players for the clients.
Yeah, I think I changed it.
So Godot has a multiplayer spawner node that we're going to use for this. And that lets us spawn nodes in the scene tree. And it allows you to spawn them across all the connected clients. So let's add one of those. In our game tree, let's Control A and add a multiplayer spawner. This is just a built-in node in Godot. And you'll see in the inspector we have a spawn path variable. And I'm going to select my players manager node as where I'm going to spawn the players.
So the thing with parents, we're finished on this.
Yeah, yep. So we select players manager. And in this auto spawn list, we have to define the scenes that we're allowed to spawn using the multiplayer spawner. A lot of spawn. So if you just drop that down, add an element, then you can select entities player.tscn. And that will allow us to spawn the player.tscn using the multiplayer spawner. Okay. Now we have to add a script to our players manager node. So let's add a script, call it players manager.
This error was player. Second.
And we're going to give it a ready function. And what we're going to do here is we're going to listen for the multiplayer peer connected signal. So when a peer connects to the server or to the client, this signal will be emitted. And that's how we'll know when to spawn players. So we're going to connect this signal to a on peer connected function, which we will now define. Cool. We also need to, in the file system, if you type in player, you'll find the player scene. And then if you just click and control drag it into here, we can get a reference to that scene. And that is what we'll instantiate for each of the players. So say create a variable for the player, which is just the player scene instantiated. We'll add that as a child. And one thing we're going to do is we're going to set the name of this player node to be the peer ID. So every time that a client joins the server, they're going to get a unique peer ID. And that's how we can tell like who's who, pretty much. And it's important that we set the name of the player node to be that peer ID so we can keep track of who's controlling what player. Okay, I think we're good to test it. Oh wait, we still have a player in the player's manager already, so we just want to get rid of that guy. So you can delete that node.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
In the multiplayer spawner, we had the spawn path pointing to the player's manager.
Yep.
However, we are manually adding it. I would add child.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Go find them.
So as far as my understanding is, the multiplayer spawner
Then do the.
just facilitates replicating nodes from the server to all the other clients. But it is kind of weird that you still have to instantiate and add a child. It doesn't do that automatically for you. So
Player scene on two.
I think so.
One of them, their spawner, the other one looks like they're.
that's probably what's happening.
But that would mean that human activities would make it happen.
Oh, yeah. When I saw that happen. Not only that, but look at these, like, I mean.
Yeah, so we can test that right now.
Do you want, like, can you?
So now we have no player, and the start menu is where it belongs. If I press host, you'll notice nothing happens. But if I press join, you'll see a player spawned. So what's going on here? The host did not get a player. The client did get a player. You're totally right. So peer connected is not emitted for the host because the host is already there. And since the host is like not connecting to itself, there's no peer connected signal that comes out of the multiplayer API. So that's why the host didn't have a player. And what's happening on the right here is the client is actually seeing that the client connected with a peer connected, but also that the host is connected. So there's actually two players underneath here. And we can verify that by checking out the remote scene tree over here. If you press that. So we'll see this is the host. You can't really tell from here, but this is the host because there's only one player. And that is the client. But if we, down here, you see there's the two sessions, session 1 and session 2. If you switch between them, it will switch the scene tree that you're looking at. And now you'll see that there's two players here. And this is the client's one, only because I know that. You can't tell it, but that's what it is. And you'll see one is the host player and one is the client's player. So to recap,
Is the host player invisible?
the host doesn't have a player on the host's machine, but it does on the client's machine. They're perfectly stacked because they spawn on top of each other, and the inputs are controlling both the host and the client.
So if you had 3 players, would the host have 6?
No, there would just be 3 players on top of each other. We'll fix this in a second, and hopefully it'll make more sense. But yeah, this is kind of confusing. And it was very confusing for me when I was learning this. I was like, where's my player?
Just to make sure you said the client only has their character on their screen.
So actually, you would think that, but it's the opposite. The client sees, this is the client scene tree, and you can see there's 2 players in it. So the client sees the host's player and their own player, but the host doesn't see their own player. Yeah. Okay, so we got to fix this. Let's start by creating a player for the host. So since this peer connected is not going to be emitted for the host when they're hosting, because they're connecting to themselves, you're not going to get a signal saying, hey, there's a peer connected to you. It's yourself. Does that make sense? Okay. So yeah, we have to figure this out manually. So what we're going to do is, if we go back to ENet server, we're going to create a signal called spawn player for host. And we're going to emit this signal when we start the server. Then if we go to the game tree, we need a reference to our player's manager. Let's drag that in. And then we will connect the signal from ENet server, the spawn player for host signal from that. We're going to connect it to the player's manager. And then we're going to create a new function called spawn player for host inside of the player's manager. Okay, inside of player's manager, we're going to define that function that we just created. It'll take in no parameters. And what we'll do here is we'll just say on peer connected, and we'll pass in a 1. And the reason we're passing in 1 is because 1 is the ID of the server, always. All the clients will have like random long numbers. Server's only 1.
Is that hard coded?
Yeah, that's just how it works by default. Server number 1. Okay. If we run the game now, we will see that the host will have a player. And if we move that player a little bit, and then we join on the other side, we'll see that a player is created for the client. But on the client screen, they're still on top of each other. And on the host screen, you're still controlling both players. So that's one more thing we have to fix. But that's an improvement. You know there? Oh, yes. I'm supposed to mention this. You will receive this error called on-spawn receive condition parent has node something. I have no idea what that means. You can ignore it. Yeah. I think it's something to do with the multiplayer spawner.
What triggers that?
I think when you spawn players, this red node, parent has node error shows up. But as far as I know, we can ignore it. So should be okay.
I felt how you had the connection.
Yeah. So
Getting an error in your password. 67.
what is the castle door doing?
I forget this.
It says the multiplayer instance.
Oh, that is because you'll see that if you. So I snuck a little bit of multiplayer code in the castle door just so this will go faster. But basically what will happen is you started running the game, you connected the host and the client, and then once you disconnect one of them, it'll be like, oh, I was connected to the host, but now the host isn't there anymore. And that's what that error is saying. Yeah. So you can ignore it. Okay. So we've solved our problem with the host not having a player. Let's see what's next on the to-do list. Okay. If you close the host, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So you'll notice at this point when you control any player, it controls all players, and it doesn't really seem like it's multiplayer. It seems like you're just playing single player with 2 people. So we're going to fix that by assigning multiplayer authority. Let's do that. Okay. So what we want to do is when we spawn players, we want to assign the authority to them. So authority is basically saying like who's allowed to control this player. You know, is the host allowed to control it? Is client number 1 allowed to control it? Is client number 2 allowed to control it? We're going to say that right now. One thing I like to do though is I like to keep that code separate because normally you would put it in the player script, but I like my players to focus only on the player. I don't think the players really need to focus too much on assigning authority and stuff. So I'm going to create in the components folder in the file system. If you right click and create new scene, we're just going to create a blank node scene and we're going to call it multiplayer underscore client as the .tscn scene name.
Yeah, everything the GUI manager you had.
And this is kind of optional, but I like to do it because it makes the code cleaner. So you all will do it too. So now that we have a multiplayer client node, we can save it, and that's fine. And we'll attach a script to that. Call it multiplayerclient.gd.
Haven't gotten to the point of emitting the signal yet.
And in here, in the
Yeah.
enter tree function,
Oh, good.
which is a built-in function that runs whenever a node joins the tree.
Check on the GitHub. If you have that pulled up, you can check the branch. That's the
So when this multiplayer client node enters the tree, we're going to get the peer ID from that node's name. And you'll remember when we spawn our player, we set the name of that node to the peer ID. So we can get the name of that, parse out the ID of it, and then we'll call this built-in function called set multiplayer authority on that peer ID. And what that does is it says this node and anything under it belongs to that one peer.
Why not do that in pure connected when we instantiate a player?
I don't know. We could possibly do that, yeah. That might be a better way to do it, actually. Yeah, you probably could if you did it in here. I don't know. I'll try that next time. That might save some complexity. But anyways, we're already too deep. So yeah, this is everything you need for multiplayer client. Does everyone have that? Sweet. Great question. So what we're going to do here is we're going to Control Shift A, and we're going to add the player as a child scene of this client. And what happens here is when we call set multiplayer authority on the client, since the player is a child of that, by default, set multiplayer authority recursively sets the authority to all of the child nodes. So that player will also have this called on it. Does that make sense?
Going back to G, the player scene to client scene.
Yes, exactly. So our next step is we'll go back to the game tree. We'll go back to our multiplayer spawner. We're going to leave the spawn path the same, but we're going to change this element to instead from being the player.tscn to being components/multiplayerclient.tscn. So instead of having the player up here, we're just going to spawn the client instead. Cool. Let's see if that worked. And we probably won't see much of a difference because we haven't written the rest of the code yet. But No errors, so that's good. Cool.
Wait, Travis, I'm sorry, what did you set as the spawn path?
Yeah, spawn path remains the same for player's manager. We're going to add our players as a child of player's manager. And then in the auto spawn list, we had player.tscn here. We're going to change that to multiplayerclient.tscn. Alrighty. So if you run the game, you'll notice that you're still controlling both players. So what we have to do now is we go to our player scene. Here's our player scene. I have all my player logic in the player controller node. And if we go in here, this is where the inputs get handled. So what we want to do to make sure that we're obeying the authority is we want to say if not is multiplayer authority, return. And that way, when we get to this point, and if we don't own this player, then we just don't do any calculations for input. We don't do any calculations for movement. We just get out of there. But if we do own that player, then we do all that. Alrighty. So once we make that change, we should notice
Move the player.
we can't move the player. We can't move the client.
I still have them tied together, but I can't.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's weird. All right, let's figure that out. I don't see any errors other than a warning, unrelated. If not, is multiplayer return. So in the remote scene tree, you can see what the authority is. It's actually one of the first things it shows you. Up here, it says multiplayer authority is 1. So on our player node named 1, we have multiplayer authority of 1. And on player node 3, we also have multiplayer authority of 1. So something didn't work. Let me check my notes. Oh, I forgot. My bad. All right, let's go to game tree. And if we go into players manager.gd, we were previously spawning the player scene. We now need to change this to be spawning or instantiating the multiplayer client. Yes, that's the part I forgot. So let's change that now. Comment out player. And instead of player, we'll do multiplayer client.
What if I would want the multiplayer spawner to know if that's what we're spawning?
You would want it to figure that out.
It's just, you want it to be. Is there a? I guess the question is there a time you'd want that to be different?
So in your multiplayer spawner in this auto spawn list, if you want to get crazy, you can also spawn other things other than just players. Like I made a game where you were spawning like laser blasts that like move slowly. So I was using that in here.
And I guess if that's a variable amount and you want to be able to specify which individual one.
Yeah, so you kind of want to specify which of these. Scroll down.
Oh, that worked.
That works? Awesome. How's everyone doing?
Could you go back to the multiplayer client scene real quick? I feel like I missed something.
Yeah. Here is multiplayer client. It's just a node,
There's a player.
and it has a child that's a player, yeah.
Yeah. All right.
This is calling.
Yeah, let me take a look.
Yeah, that's true. They do have the.
One of those. Okay.
I might just throw that else.
Okay.
Smart Firehouse wood. Oh, you want to? Yeah, here. Let me pull up that. Let me pull up game tree actually. So I think what you're missing here is ENet server emits a signal, spawn player for host, and then you want to connect that to the player's manager. Yeah. Did you say something about? Oh, the GD, yeah. I do that too. Yeah. I hope everything has made sense so far. This isn't like black magic. Okay. My goal is that everyone can go home and actually use this. So I hope everyone understands. Yep. So yeah, we have the signal up here, spawn player for host, and then it gets emit when you start the server. Yeah.
Once I explained what his name wife was, she said that was the moment she's like, okay, I'm checked out. Not on the game.
Okay. I think everything's working, right?
Oh, this is not something.
Okay. So if you run the game now, you'll see that you can control your own player and not the other person's player, which is good. You'll notice that it still does not match left and right. And on the client, you'll notice that we're not looking at your client, we're looking at the host. So we got to figure that out too. So let's fix that first. If we go to our player scene, basically what's happening is the camera of the host is being made current instead of the player of your client. So if you find the camera 2D on the player scene and you drag a reference in for that, then in the ready function of the player, you can say if not is multiplayer authority. We'll just delete everyone else's camera. This is playercontroller.gd. We don't have to. Actually, yeah, we do. And we also want to return if we're deleting that. So basically, on every player, we run through this ready function when we spawn it. We say, do I have control of this? If I do have control of this player, this is my player, then skip this, do all that. But if it's someone else's player, we don't want to have a camera on them. Or you could just disable a camera or something, but let's just delete it for now.
I have the answer to why not put it in.
Oh, really?
Which is that the name is passed through the spawning thing, the MultiplayerSpawner, but the authority is not. So the client connects, they duplicate their player from the server with the right name, but the server has the correct authority separate. There's no good separate there. So you have to then duplicate it or right custom spawning from the beginning.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yes. That makes sense.
Sorry.
Yep. So this is the player controller script. Camera 2D is a reference that I dragged in, one of the on-ready references. This right here. If you just click and drag it, it should add the reference for you. Are you returning from here also?
I put that block of code in process.
Oh, okay. Sweet. Okay. So now we can, as clients, look at our own player, which is awesome. And I think that is everything for step 3.
Yeah. So maybe like.
Is your camera past the context?
What's that? Yes. So if this is your player, you don't delete the camera. But if it's anyone else's player, you say, yeah, just get rid of the camera. Because I don't want to look at them. I just want to look at me. The reason I return here is only because Chat UI is a child of the camera. And I have some code doing Chat UI, which actually I guess you don't need to return because I check for it as null. But yeah. Yeah.
I've not been able to trust my phone.
Oh yeah. Expected 2 arguments but called with 1. Can you go to start server? Yeah. If you go to ENet server. .gd right there. Yep. If you get rid of this max players, that was a mistake I made. Yeah. And then you just get rid of max players too. The default's 64, so it should work.
Yeah, and it didn't spawn. I was like, honestly,
Sweet. Okay. So this is almost looking like a multiplayer game.
Oh, I'm not sure about that one.
I can try one.
Keep this, sorry.
Cool. So step 4 of my README is synchronizing movement, which is what we're about to do. So let's do it. Godot also, similar to the MultiplayerSpawner node, there's a MultiplayerSynchronizer node. And what that does is it synchronizes variables across the network. So like floats, integers, vector 3s, pretty much whatever you want. You can synchronize across the network. So in order to synchronize our player's movement, we're going to Shift A and add a child MultiplayerSynchronizer node to the player. So when you add a MultiplayerSynchronizer node, you'll see down in the bottom here, there's a new replication tab on the bottom of your editor. In there, you can press the Add Property to Sync button. And this allows you to pick a node that you want to synchronize. And then if you double-click on Player, which is the character body 2D, you'll see all the properties that you can synchronize. If we just type in Position, which is a Node 2D property, you can double-click Position. And we will start syncing the position. You'll see I have a million errors because I'm still running the game, and it does not like that. So we'll get rid of that. But yeah. So it'll say what node you're syncing, what property you're syncing. I don't know what that means. And then how often to replicate it. I think spawn is just like sync it once when it spawns, but since we're syncing it always, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so if you run the game now, host and join. That's multiplayer right there. Let's go. Okay, so that's pretty sweet. If you have that working, you have multiplayer working. Pretty sweet. You'll see there's still a lot of stuff that you can't synchronize or isn't synchronized, but we can add that easily. But basically, the whole point of this demo is you need a friend to help you stand on a button to open this door, and once you both stand on the buttons, you can both enter the castle and get the loot, and all is well. Except the door's closed on the client, so we have to synchronize that. The buttons don't move, the torches don't light. So that's all stuff that you can use MultiplayerSynchronizer for. We can do the castle door since we have time. So if you had a MultiplayerSynchronizer to the castle door, I'm using an animation player to move the position and rotation of the castle door's static body 2D. So we're going to want to synchronize the static body 2D. We're going to want to synchronize the position of it, as well as the rotation. And we'll synchronize them always. And like usual, I have a million errors because I changed this while I'm running the game. But that's okay.
Travis, why doesn't the button torch light on the client side, like, at all?
That's a great question. So the reason that it doesn't light on the client side is because I went ahead and in the sample repo, I added a little bit of multiplayer code right here, just so that you guys wouldn't have to. I added this if not is multiplayer authority return to the castle door. And I think also on the button. And the button is what triggers the torch. So what happens on the client is, if I pull up the client, which is not running, so my client's on the right here. If I stand on the button, the button does nothing. And normally it should do something because we didn't add any code, but I did add code to it. So if we look at the button script, the stand on button, basically there's an area 2D that detects if someone's standing on it. And I have it connected to this on body entered, but I have this if is not the multiplayer authority, then do not do anything. And this is what triggers the torch and the door. So because the client is not the authority, it can't do that.
Is there, like, why add that?
Why add that? Great question. So basically what we want is the host is the one who knows the game state, right? So basically how multiplayer works is we're all agreeing that we're seeing the same things, but it's the host that does like the actual, like, this is the truth, everyone else replicate me. So instead of doing like the area 3D calculation here on all the clients and stuff, I only do it on the host. And that way what the host sees is true. And so that's what this check is for.
Would you just add a multiplayer synchronizer on everything then?
Yeah.
So
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to ask how expensive that gets. Like, is there a stopping point, you think, or?
Yeah, I mean, so there are certain things you can do on every client that's not going to impact it.
Right.
But like for important things, like I don't know. I guess like, let's say this button's really important. You want it so that the host is the one who's deciding if that button is getting pressed,
Right.
instead of any client, you know?
And if you're using a dedicated server, the server would decide, and they would just use ENet to do that?
Yes, the server would decide. So, like on clients, there's a lot you can get away with just being like, okay, you're a client. I don't really care about like graphics or like how nice your game looks or like, I don't know, maybe even if there's some NPCs, it's like, all right, like they're very low-key NPCs, like you can figure that out on your own. But like for important stuff, I would even say like if like you're in an FPS shooter and you say like, oh, I'm gonna shoot someone, you can't just be like, oh, I'm across the map and I'm gonna shoot someone
Oh, I see.
and be like, hey, I just shot them.
There it is.
It's like you kind of want the host to be like, all right, like you're within range. I can see on my game with all my data that you're able to shoot them. Stuff like that, you know? But it's really up to you on how you want to handle it.
Is
But-
the synchronizer expensive?
Let's look at that. Let's look at that. So what we did was for the castle door, we added a synchronizer, and we're synchronizing the position and rotation always. And so every network frame, which I believe is 30 times a second by default. Don't quote me on that. But every network frame, we're syncing the position of this castle door and the rotation of this castle door, along with the position of each player.
Well, now it is because I closed the host. Oh, I see.
If we test this, we'll see that it works. And that's great. If we go to the debugger and we go to the network profiler, which is this setting over here, we can turn on the network profiler and it will start profiling all the data that you're sending on the network. So you'll see over here, we have a down and up. I'm gonna say this is the server, but if you switch sessions, it'll be different. You gotta start this one too. But anyways, you'll see how much data you're sending up and down to and from the server. And you can see that we're sending 1.3 kibibytes per second, and we're receiving 2.9 kibibytes per second. A kibibyte is 1,000 bytes. And 24? Okay. Cool. Yeah. What Duke said. Yeah, I think I just had it backwards. Yeah. It's all right. It's close enough. Anyways, so the question is, are multiplayer synchronizers efficient? And it depends on how you use them. So we don't really need to sync the position of this door every single frame, right? Because it only moves once. So what you could do is, if you go to the castle door synchronizer, you can change the replication settings from always to on change. And then it will only say, hey, I'm a door and I just moved. That's my update, right? But if the door doesn't move, then it's like, don't worry about me. I'm not moving, you know?
Is there a reason you wouldn't want it to always be on change?
Is there a reason you wouldn't always want it to be on change? Yes. So it's kind of, I think Jonathan and I were doing like some Reddit research or whatever, which is the best research. But I think it seems that when you say on change, there's like a acknowledgement portion in the network. So it's like, I changed, tell me that you saw that I changed, and I'll say, okay, cool. So it's just like added on messages.
So if you need something to be extra responsive, it's always on.
Yeah. So I love to do my players always, and then anything that like changes a little bit, every once in a while I do on change.
So when I was asking about like expensiveness, I was more asking like how scalable is this solution? Should like the more players, the max players here is 16. Is this like a good way to set it up for 16 players? Is just have like everything track all the time? How much should be dependent on hosts realistically?
The question is this sufficient for large amounts of players?
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Premature optimization is the root of all evil. I don't know. I think it would be.
Hmm.
There's probably some solution, like if you have like a big MMO game, there's probably a way for you to say like, if you're not close to each other, then don't synchronize to each other, and maybe have like local.
Probably set with delays so that if you're close to a player, you can actually see their updates, but if you're not, just exit from the network.
Say public visibility.
Yeah, it's just a property on that.
So. Oh, okay. Huh. So on the multiplayer synchronizer, there's a public visibility variable that you can toggle, which I've never played with, but that seems like it'd be perfect for large MMO games or something like that. Cool.
So, speaking of premature optimization,
Yes.
if your end goal is to use Steam and the Steam proxy to let you play just that week full forwarding, you will quickly find that you are in trouble. You're a very low bit rate. And sharing position every network frame, you'll have to make your network frame so slow that it looks horrible, or you'll be trouble. And in that case, you want to share a position and a velocity, and then do an animation of where you're expecting it to be. And optimizations like we discussed of like cutting out layers that are too far to matter, having a back end front end sort of thing. Like for the door, we could just have one function that's like do the door animation instead of playing it and sending all of the position updates by network frame.
Yeah.
We'll have to optimize it, put it on Steam.
Yeah. So what Duke is saying is, if you ever do go with like Godot Steam, is it called? What is it? There's more of a network limitation, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's ways you can optimize it. Like for a door animation, instead of synchronizing the rotation position on change, what you could instead do is just send a Boolean that says like door is open, and then once you see that that changes, you play like an animation on the client side as well. So you'll essentially start the animation at the same time, but you're not sending all the keyframes over it. You're just saying like, start the animation, and then each client will figure out like, oh, the door's opening, I'll play that animation. I know the rotations of that, so you can do that. If you're really interested in optimizing a little bit more, I have a script. It's a little bit further down in the README, but I call it my net position lerper. And basically, it just lerps between the positions of the players. So what you can do is you can send your position less frequently, and that reduces the bandwidth that you're using. And then you just lerp, interpolate between each position that you receive. So as you see other players, you say, okay, he was there, now he's there. We're gonna lerp between them smoothly. And that'll also help reduce bandwidth. And this is the code for it. Yeah. Yeah, so you can run, you can host this in headless mode. Probably what you would do is you can set like a custom argument for launching the game. Usually it's like -- headless. And then you would like, I don't know, somehow, I think Godot can compile for headless. So you like do a headless build. There's ways to do it. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
On your lerping, was that with RPC or was that exclusively with the replicator?
Oh yeah. Great question. So that my net position lerper is using the multiplayer synchronizer. But you'll see here, and the replication interval, you can reduce how often you're replicating this. So you can do like every 0.1 second or every like 1 second. If we do every 1 second, it's pretty choppy. but if you were to lerp between them, it might look better. So I basically just send like every 1 second, and then.
Perfect.
But if you lerp between it, it's like kind of okay, you know.
Just 1,000 ping.
What's that?
How are you making when you synchronizing just I know, so.
How do you make it lerp? Oh,
Yeah.
every physics frame.
Yeah, I was looking through it.
Synchronizer will separate,
Like, if you get both of them, like, it opens up.
Oh,
I was playing around with it. So that's what
I think so. So I put this node on my player, right? Hook it up, and then every physics frame, if I'm not the authority, if this is data coming in from other people, then I will lerp them to where they are. And otherwise, host will update and everything. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
I just want to interrupt real quick with just a time check for y'all. If you need a break, you're about halfway through. If you don't, welcome to keep.
Oh, we're halfway right now?
Rough. It's like 4 o'clock. So.
Sweet. I think
Yeah.
we're making great time. This is awesome.
Just wanted to make sure. Seems like everyone's like head down and focused in both rooms. So we're just springing in to remind you guys you're welcome to take a break.
Awesome.
Does the synchronizer get rid of the idea of like tick rate, like server side tick rate? Is that just abstracted away?
Tick rate?
Yeah. Or is that something that is like configurable?
Tick rate.
Like typically a server would have like a dedicated server game would have like a tick rate that like kind of controls like what's the fastest update that's possible. Yeah.
You could probably set that, yeah.
Okay.
You could probably change.
Okay.
I'm sure there's a way to do it without having like. It's got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think somewhere in the docs it says like how often a network frame is.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, you can.
And you could probably toggle that or like increase it or something.
That's a issue. Because maybe it would be.
But then is there like a global that's like configurable at the
headless version
project level?
Yeah.
Okay.
You had a question?
That was one of the things he talked about.
Oh, sorry, yeah. I wouldn't worry about the player knows dictionary right now.
Just saying that, Gotcha.
You don't see what do you not see?
Excuse me. So, this hasn't really been an obtrusive issue, but I just figured I'd ask.
I was just like,
I generate my host. I have like a third wheel guy that just shows up.
yeah.
Can you before if you maybe just run again. I would check in the remote tree and oh yeah. Are you spawning player for host? You remit it. Is it connected in the game tree? Player for host. Yeah, that should be right.
Yeah, the finished product doesn't really give me.
I'll send Jonathan.
Yeah.
So.
So
Okay.
Shannon's
What's up?
That was at first like that was only good. I think not having the team wide on the any problems. I think it'll just make it easier for people to understand why. Like I mean I can
In order to handle animations across the network, how do we do that?
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes I do it based on velocity or something. So I kind of like calculate the velocity between frames and do based on that. You could probably synchronize like an enumeration for like animation or like animation state enumeration. I think you can synchronize that. You can also synchronize animation player, also animation tree variables.
Yeah.
So I'll probably just do that on change. Yeah. There's a lot of ways to do it.
Yeah, but
Okay.
yeah, you can blame my fondness for Rider for that. But it should.
Oh, so one thing that I want to point out is
Yeah.
it's very important that you have like anything that you're syncing has to be at the same path on both the host and the client.
Yeah.
So you'll see here in this example,
Oh.
the host player is at root/game tree/players manager/1/1, and that has a synchronizer on it that's synchronizing stuff. That multiplayer synchronizer is looking at that path and saying that the node at this path has this property and it's changing like this. So that has to match. Where you run into issues is if you spawn things at runtime. If anyone spawned like a bunch of rigid bodies or something, you'll notice that the first one will be like rigid body 3D, and then the second, third, fourth is like rigid body at like some random number. That'll give you trouble if you're trying to synchronize those. So I think a way around it is if you can like somehow generate a unique name, kind of like how the peer ID is like a unique name. That's kind of one way to get around it. I still haven't figured it out, but that is an issue we'll run into if you're trying to spawn things at runtime that are synchronized. Okay.
Yeah, apparently.
Step 5 here is synchronizing the environment, but you all should be familiar with MultiplayerSynchronizer now to synchronize any property of anything in the world level. So if you wanted, you could synchronize the torch's flame sprite, the animation of the player, all that stuff.
It wasn't. Well, I mean, on the host it was.
And we've looked at the network profiler.
It's like a software that's
In this picture here, you can see I'm synchronizing all these properties every frame, and I'm getting like 6 kibibytes up, 2 kibibytes down. That's pretty high, at least for this demo. So synchronizing on change for things that don't change often is pretty helpful. And that's how you can get it down. One time I made a game and I was syncing a lot of stuff, and my friends joined and we were playing it, and then like 5 minutes in, I believe what happened was I was syncing too many things and it just like killed my network router, and they all lost connection to the server, and it all messed up. So something to consider. Kibibytes, 1024, you're right. Okay. The last step of this workshop is using remote procedure calls, RPCs. Basically, an RPC is a function that you can call on other people's computers. So you define this function and then you say, I'm going to let whoever I'm connected to be able to call this function on my computer with input parameters and variables and all that. So we're going to add functionality to the chat UI script. Okay, so if we look at that, and I made recent changes to this, so we're all going to have to make sure we're on the same page. Recent as in last night. Does everyone's chat UI send message function look like this? I hope.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, cool. I might have changed that last night. I don't remember. Okay, so
Yeah, I made it.
So basically how this works is when you type in that text edit on the chat thing, and then you press enter, it'll call this send message function. And we just get the message that you typed, And then we call receive message on yourself. And you will see a message pop up attached to the player, like that. What we want to do is instead of calling receive message here, we want to call it on every connected client's computer. So we build the message, and then we want to send it to them, and we can send it to them using RPCs. And this is a good example of how you can use RPCs to send pretty much any data. You know, if it's like an array of bytes or like anything, I think RPCs is a good way to send it. So let's add that. In the file system, if you look up server chat rpc.gd, I already have most of it set up here. So this is an auto load.
So
I vaguely remember that RPCs need to be in the same location on each computer as well, or on each scene tree. Similar to how when you sync player nodes, they have to be in the same location on each scene tree. So if you look at the remote scene, you'll see that this auto load for server chat RPC is already here. That's already set up for y'all. So basically what this does is it's an auto load. It emits a signal saying, I've received a message. And there's this function that you can call on it, which just emits a signal. What we want to do is make this function so that other people can call it on your computer, and you can call it on their computer. So we're going to add, on the line above it, the @ and we'll type in RPC. And in brackets, we're going to type any peer, comma, reliable, and comma, call remote, or call local, sorry.
These are all built in?
These are all built-in settings to the Godot RPC multiplayer API wrapper. If you control-click on the RPC part, you can learn more. But basically what this means is any peer means that anyone can call this function, not just the host or not just clients. Reliable means that this message will send until the receiver gets the message and say that they got it. So it's kind of like TCP. And call local means that this function will run on their computer and also on our computer as well. So now that we've defined this RPC function, does this part make sense? Yeah? Okay. So we made a function, we say how it can work, and we can call it on other people's computers. If we go back to our chat UI, and we replace the receive message line with server chat RPC dot receive message. So if we put that there, and instead of calling the function like this, what that would do is only call it on our computer. We want to call it on everyone's computer when we send a chat message, right? So we want to send it to everyone. So instead what we do is we say receive message.rpc. And that will call the function on every connected client. So everyone else who's in the server. Additionally, we want to pass in our message as the argument. If you wanted to send this to a specific client, you could do RPC_ID. And say if you want to send it to only the host, you would say 1, comma, and then the arguments of that function, which is our chat message. Or if you want to send it to another client, you say like 4 million, whatever. But we're going to send it to everyone. Okay, let's see if that worked. So yeah, I just typed hello on the client, and on the host, you'll see that hello came in, and that hopefully matches on your computers as well. Cool.
Is there a way to differentiate who made the call? Because it sounds like it just kind of has come to the same place.
Yes, there is a way to differentiate who made the call. So if we go to server chat RPC, since this is an RPC function, I believe there's a function called sender.
Multiplayer get remote sender ID.
That sounds right to me. What was it? Multiplayer get remote sender ID. That's it. Thank you. Yeah, so if you call this inside that RPC function, it'll give you the ID of whoever called that function. And then you can do stuff like maybe we add that. To the chat message. See if that works.
Just thinking that too. Everything's online.
Sweet. So now you can see that client 2 million whatever says hello. So yeah, you can do a lot with RPCs. On one of my projects, I wrote a procedural generation thing, and then I just took the entire 2-dimensional array and stuck it in an RPC function and sent it to the clients. Although after I did that, I realized I probably just should have sent the seed to them instead, but it worked. So you can do a lot with this. I mean, if you can send a string to anyone, you can pretty much send anything, which also is something to consider for cybersecurity, but I'm not going to give any advice on that.
Could you sync audio with that? Or is that just a bad idea?
I don't know about that, but I know there are add-ons, I think, or plugins or whatever for Godot that have like voice over the network type thing, which I definitely want to check out because I want to do that.
Play a rhythm.
Multiplayer rhythm game? That sounds crazy.
That sounds tough. It's already hard to sync audio with like play cursors and write cursors and stuff,
Yeah.
right? So
That sounds crazy, but I would love to see it.
Do it.
Okay,
So you're working.
so that's RPC functions. And now we are at our recap phase. So right now, everyone in this room should be confident in how to connect 2 or more computers over an internet connection with one person hosting a server. You should all be able to spawn and synchronize characters for each player. You should be able to synchronize world elements across each client. And you should be able to use RPC functions to send any sort of data across the network. So that's pretty awesome, right? And then here are other resources I have. The Godot level documentation. Here's my advanced FPS project that I was talking about. Devlog Logan's tutorial. I made some YouTube videos about multiplayer. And I have a dedicated headless server and client repo. I don't recommend doing it, but if you want to check it out, you can check it out here. It's 2 separate Godot projects. One of them is a server, one of them is a client. And then when you synchronize, you can synchronize exported variables. So like all the players' position, I exported on the server. And then you can synchronize like that. But I don't think that's the best way to do it, so don't.
Worst client.
Unless you want to.
Stop selling. Yeah.
So the server repository doesn't have any graphics. It doesn't have any levels or anything. All it knows is the player, the positions, or the positions of the players, and the game mode and stuff like that. But it's like super bare bones. So when I was like, oh, I want to add NPCs, and that's fine. But then if you don't know where the map is, if you don't have any data about like the map and the world geometry, how are you gonna
Populate it.
how are you gonna have NPCs run around and do stuff? You know, it's really tough. And it was a 3D game. If it was 2D, you could probably figure something out. But like 3D's a little more. So
Something you can do is when you go to export, you can set what folders the export of the setting is allowed to see. So you can have your headless one, you can put all your like graphics, effects, and stuff like that in a certain or in a folder that you don't include, and then the headless one can be slimmer and still in the same project.
that's a really good idea. So when you export to make a headless server, you can have the headless server ignore all of your graphics in the file structure, and that way when you export and you want to put it on like a server or something, it's a smaller file size. That's really good. That's a good idea. That would have been a lot smarter than 2 projects.
At the beginning, you differentiated between split screen, Mario Kart, and network play. If you wanted to make a game that supported both, like, should you treat the local multiplayer, or should you treat the local players as multiplayer clients? Like,
If you want to be happy, yes.
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know, because I mean, you could just say like everyone who's on my computer is the host. But then if you're trying to do any logic, like
who's the authority?
one client or one peer ID for each player, then you would run into problems. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be a cool thing to check out for sure. But yeah, that's all the content I had for multiplayer basics. If you guys have any questions or want to workshop more stuff, I think we have time. Have I ever put the headless server in a Docker container? No, but I think it's probably easy.
Yeah, I've just seen a few different things that pop up.
Yeah, I haven't done it. Has anyone done that? Headless server in a Docker container? No? Yeah, I'm still learning Docker, so. Sounds good. Cool. Anyone want to see any cool stuff? Yeah, what's up?
What's the portion of the code that like, so I'm guessing this is all peer-to-peer kind of stuff?
This is peer-to-peer.
And then what about when you like want to make like a multiplayer game and then like you outsource the server to like some server farm?
Yeah, so the way I would do it, which I haven't done yet, but I think the way I would do it is like when you make like a headless server, instead of having one player be the host, you just don't have a player for the host. You would just make the server, you say like host, or well, if it's headless, you won't say anything. You just say like, I'm hosting, and then you won't make a player for them, and I think it should work.
Yeah, and it's even simpler because in this case we had to add weird logic where the host also gets a player, and then that was like a separate function.
Yeah, so you just want to emit the spawn player for host signal.
I work in MMOs and I wouldn't even necessarily run a headless server at all, just have clients, even how the servers work, you don't have back-end file that just accepts all players. You need to bucket them by something, like you can't have, let's say you were super lucky and you had 100,000 players, you want them all on the same map, or room or whatever else you want to call it. But if they don't have to be synchronizing like this, if they're playing one things in, then there's problems to solve, but you don't worry about someone else.
Well, you run the headless because you want the engine to do all the calculation when it's calculation that you need the engine.
I mean, I don't know, I have not done this yet. The headless would just hold on to everything for you, and it would only be data. In fact, you wouldn't even need to run. You're in
No, I'm saying like if you want to have like the physics,
oh yeah,
you already have the physics version. I mean, yeah.
And I use yes. If they want to be running a video library,
otherwise you can replicate.
But then you've got player with there. If the question is like, how do I get a player to play in the same backend? Then but you would need a smaller subset. Yeah, you want to have instances where someone in return.
Yeah, the advantage is the headless server is running your game exactly the same code. It's running exactly the same code that all the clients are running. So you don't have to run it. You don't have to write it twice. Once for the server in some server language and once for the plugins.
Yeah, I think so. But I don't know if Godot can say.
But the headless server export would be for the backend.
I don't
So neat.
Your report occupied.
What's up?
Your report occupied. I think you're.
Oh, that's a great. Yeah. Okay. That's an interesting thing. Yeah, I was running 2 multiplayer games, both of them using the same port, and probably using the same scene tree setup. So probably syncing different data, but the same data. That's kind of fun if you're into that.
Do you, so, actually, quick question with that.
Yeah.
Is there a way to catch that the port's occupied in Godot and basically throw an error?
Yeah, there's probably some way in the docs or in the multiplayer API. You can do a lot with like Godot, like checking like operating system stuff. So probably somewhere in there. Yeah. Yeah.
Community has the same stuff for free.
So when I first was preparing for this workshop, I like made this demo, but I was like, it's pretty complicated, and I was like, would this be the best way to teach multiplayer? And I was like, one of the concepts I was like, what if we set up a server and you all make your own clients and you all get to make your own weapons and stuff? And like, I was like, then you just have people flying around and like insta killing everyone. And I was like, all right.
They do have.
I don't think we would enjoy it. Yeah, someone would do it better.
Entire research document.
Yeah, this is a
Months trying to figure out how to like
FPS
less terrible
game.
to work with. But
Not designed for my laptop technology.
yeah, I mean, it was like
Dude, that's so bad.
we started just like
Wait, so Travis, if I had this on my computer, how would I actually join?
Yeah, so since I'm the host, I would first have to port forward on the router, but I don't think Microsoft would like that. So.
We're on the same lens.
Oh yeah.
yeah, I was thinking about doing this.
Should we try? Should we all try it?
If you have it downloaded, I think probably could.
They branched out. But it was only still on YouTube.
Yeah, try it. I mean, you all have the Git repo, I think.
I was
Right?
like, what happens if I want to like send data?
We'll just see if it works.
Structured very similar. Oh my
That'd be
God.
crazy.
Structured very similar
But yeah,
to the data structure.
yeah, FPS deathmatch.
Through HTTP.
So up here I have a tracker to track your ping. So if you guys are interested in like seeing how your ping is, that's pretty helpful. This is the host though, so ping is pretty good. And then it's over there. So.
Normal. Normal. That's what's called. No, yeah. It was like
Oh yeah.
VR, and then they
All right, don't hack me.
just
No, we used to do like
This thing is struggling. Oh wait,
I'm
no.
finding people hanging out.
Yeah.
Are they still recording?
Look at this.
And I'm probably gonna make.
All right, I think that's it right there. So.
My plan is to start using
Where would we put this?
wrap the entire network using like an interface, so that way if I want
I can't make it bigger.
not WebSockets or like some other third-party service that does something and stuff. Yeah, I could just do that without disruption. Would you want to try?
25026.
Yeah, like I.
The IP. There should be a connect menu.
It's like I don't know what
Oh, when we joined the game.
build like
Yeah. Oh my God, someone's in here.
people can. So I built a Cards Against Humanity clone
What is going on here?
on the web.
Oh yeah.
So instead of the port number, we put the IP address?
A similar
Um,
functionality I made it
IP goes in the other one.
server side. Was like,
If you replace localhost,
or it would go into
Yeah.
Postgres, and then you maybe there's either
that's crazy. I did not think that would work. Yeah. So
they're perfect.
I think it's just this laptop. Like this thing is struggling. I got 28 FPS, 172 ping.
Ding ding. Whoa, that reload is amazing.
If you hold tab, I tried making a scoreboard with, I think it's like the item UI node, but it doesn't resize right. That's crazy. Multiplayer. Let's go.
I have a big head.
Yeah. Yeah, so these are hit scan. So it's just a raycast. You say I hit 197. There are hitboxes actually, which is kind of cool. But
What's the address again?
the address 10 60 32 94. That changes, right? I don't know too much. Oh my God, how is this working, dude? This is all on my laptop. I love it. Yeah, I'm hosting. Yeah. Dude, there's so many. Oh yeah.
I did. This is the first one.
Oh wait, this one might be the host actually. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Get this guy out of here. I think I have disconnect handling properly. So I'll just full screen it. I'll just full screen. What's up? A rocket jump? Oh, no rockets yet. I was gonna add another weapon. I don't think I did that though. If you press 2, I think you put away your gun. Wow. Oh, that's so sick. And there's a kill feed too, if you guys want to check that out. It's really small though. The kill feed.
Oh, it's so tiny on my screen.
Yeah, I don't.
10, 60, 32, 94.
And where do we input that in project?
The event code. MS event. I can restart it. I'll restart it. Who's that? Woo! No, I can't leave. Yeah, you get a plushie.
Oh.
Yeah, we have pretty great art.
Just killed it.
Oh, we could do that with the game we named.
Yeah, we can all join and see how many people we can get in the castle.
Oh yeah.
It does.
It's funny, the client's pretty smooth.
Yeah, no, there was no lag on my computer.
Oh yeah. That's good. Yeah. It's the PS graphics, the PS1 graphics. Yeah.
Oh, no, they're good enough.
Dude, this is the most people I've ever had on one game I've made. This is crazy.
How many do you get for the game jam one normally?
I don't think anyone's played it multiplayer actually. I think that was just us, yeah. Cause like when you play game jam games, it's like
You're playing for a few minutes and you play another one?
Yeah. And then also, in order to do that, you have to port forward. So it's like,
Are you gonna leak your IP into the game too?
yeah. Well, I was thinking of hosting it on like a third party, like Linode or whatever. I was thinking again one of those. Then I was like,
Is that what, there was, it was, I guess, months ago at this point. Someone made like an MMO for the game.
Go faster. Shit.
oh really?
Yeah, it was fair.
For Godot Wild Jam?
Oh.
No.
I think it was fair.
Was it multiplayer?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm-
I should have checked that out. I'm so bad at playing the games. I do the Godot Wild Jam for like 9 days straight,
And then you're exhausted.
burn myself out, and then it's like, oh, you want me to play games for 5 days and rate them and like give them time and effort? Oh God. Should be the game tree is the default scene. Oh yeah, if you want, I guess you could give yourself more. I'll take a look.
Whoa. Not here.
This is so sick. Oh yeah. No, if you join. Actually in there. Yeah. Oh if you go back, or try it again. I think you're missing the dots.
Oh, I can see my. Oh, I can see my.
Yeah, so sorry. It's 10 dot, whatever that is dot. And then one more dot. Yeah, there you go.
Just look. What is my name?
How much health I have?
Yeah. In order to find out how much health you have, you just look up.
So does everyone feel confident about making multiplayer games now? Yeah? Okay. I don't know. I want people to make them because like I think it's just the best thing.
Fancy.
Where'd everybody go? Are they running around?
Yeah.
It makes it seem much more accessible. So that's a giant.
Who's flying? Oh.
Oh.
Oh, did I leave that in?
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here we go.
It's a feature.
Oh, I was thinking there's no validation, so somebody just set the jump height really high.
That's amazing.
If you press 2, you put your gun away, and then your arms go into airplane mode. Wow. This is beautiful. This belongs in a museum.
Is very good. I haven't ever had it.
Oh my God, where'd I go?
Pretty expensive.
So many players. There we go. There we go.
Oh, someone has a problem?
Oh, there we go. Realize it was a maze.
Is there a problem over here? Are we having a problem over here?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like,
Random spirit issue and
oh, I was like, yeah, it's like, it feels like it's like your body. Oh, God. Oh, wait, that was me. I was like, what's in yourself? Yeah, I was watching.
It's actually like not a lot, but it's also
Can I
not.
see for a second? I think so it looks like you did most systems. I think what we're missing is since we're gonna spawn the players during runtime, we're gonna want to get rid of that guy. So I don't know how you delete.
Wait, this
Oh yeah, so there's already so that's like the single player.
you're saying like
Yeah, so you delete that single player, and then once people connect, they will spawn in there. So if you try it now.
I already wrote it in C++, so someone told me it shouldn't be rewriting it.
Yeah, so that's good. Yeah. Yeah, so once you hit host, if everything's connected, it'll spawn a player for that. Oh god. Here, hit join on the client.
Okay, just like be a part.
Yeah. So
I was like, all right, fine.
well, that's good to know. I didn't realize that.
yeah.
Color finds the color that it's related to. Well, in the bars. No.
So on ENet server,
It references like,
if you click on that,
you know, the
script
sepia and brown.
there, yep, so small player browser submits. Is that connected in GameTree?
That white.
Yes, server.
Any color that was
Why is that green?
And then we bought, someone got him this.
Can you control click on that?
It was dated.
Or what? Yeah,
It still sucks. I don't think we've gone out. I think it's gone out.
okay. Can you
Every single time.
delete
So,
this and name it
Even did.
like ENet with a capital E server,
They brought a bunch of DJ.
and then get rid of that underscore too as well. That might be messing it up.
So I looked at controls.
Yeah. So and then because when you define this last name, it defines like kind of like the name of the node.
Oh, but maybe they will later this week.
Huh?
Did they say so I go to show it?
If you go back to ENet server,
That's
yep, and then if you just if you copy that, and then go back to GameTree.
No, so
Because,
And then paste it right there. There you go. That should do it.
I mean, there is.
So, it's like random photo websites. Like it sounds like such that it has like a
Yeah, so let's go to the player script or the player scene, and then player control. If we look in there, if not, is multiplayer authority EQ free? Okay, that's good. Oh, and then maybe just comment that one out. Yeah, I think by default,
hopefully it's end up running out after.
yeah. I wondered if it was
Sam.
Amplifier's part of it, when it's synchronized. It's just
What?
Oh, versus rollback
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
execution.
5 minutes break, what's this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hoping everyone would get it. I guess I could see. Do you think anyone else did?
No, it's.
For the most part,
Yeah.
if you were to take
It was on a whim last night.
Yeah. Thanks for all that too. Also, it's good to have someone else who's like a little bit.
Oh, it's shit.
Everyone's gone.
Yeah.
On responding yesterday for like
Just tap, like lift it up and it follows you. Very normal stuff. Yeah.
I've never used the microphone before.
Yeah. That's an option.
I saw it.
Yeah. If you look up, I think it's like Godot VoIP. Yeah. It's like voice over IP.
But with the control, it's not like intended.
I think it's a plugin. Yeah.
Yeah.
They might have open source solution. Available. I know a couple of games are working on that. Okay, so let's see. So
Oh yeah. Or like if I crash, I'm not gonna smash into a billion pieces.
that was good.
And it works. To a certain extent, it works because of yeah, well, and it's just like,
That was good.
Yeah, I got to.
Let's check out your player's manager. Multiplayer client, that's fine. Your multiplayer client is missing a player actually. So you want to have a player as a child of the multiplayer client. So if you control or command shift A on there, and then add player.
When
Command Shift A pulls up the scenes from
Yeah, so you can instantiate a scene that you have from your file system. Yeah.
Oh,
I think that should be it. Yeah, we try that. That's good.
yeah, they're probably like this big. Man. It's like a decent sized drone, right? Yeah, that's what the
just like one guy.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. And then if you're going,
HDI,
okay, we're.
this the thing's huge.
There's no guards on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you followed like all the steps, but I think you just missed one if you just. So you have the synchronizing, dude.
So like people were like, so I like sent this to people, and I was just like,
We have a host.
it was around that, it wasn't. I don't think I have
The host is here.
Yes. He was just sitting on the desk.
Can you start again? Yeah. I just want to see what actually happened.
So for reasons, we didn't like turn it off, so it just kept going.
Oh, jeez.
If anyone was near it, we lost it. Like melee or something.
Sure.
No, I don't didn't have there was a picture of
The host has a player.
someone playing underneath.
I didn't want a picture of the people around me.
So like, he got to not do
One
a big
shot
portion.
of we went
Yeah.
Yeah, right there, yeah.
Let's see. So on the remote scene tree, this is super helpful because it shows you what's happening. This part, like this is like when you're turning the game and all that. But like once you hit run, everything in here is actually filled out. So it looks like you have 2 players.
That's what they were,
Go to debug.
It was also a right place, right time.
And we'll see that. The other guy.
they're building.
Yeah, that probably is.
So,
Oh, thanks.
And
Oh.
it got saved.
yeah, so they got the point about it, and then they bring it into the song.
And so this guy only has one.
Well, I thought it was like he was fine before COVID, and then he just ground during COVID,
They
and
can
like
take one of the cool things that everyone actually like turn.
He had a question too.
If you see him, let him know.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Almost there's nothing but
okay,
Is like
So
really bad matchup for Marth.
it's not like I would agree.
Yeah.
It's just you have
Like enough information.
So it seems like
no, just call me. It doesn't have where like a couple of days they have their staff like put it in.
Was it just like hitbox avoids a lot of your attacks?
Very specialized stuff. I feel like they just made
Yeah, it's called CM Build Visual.
Oh, it is player.tsm.
Yeah, they were.
Let's switch this to be MultiplayerCon. So if we get rid of that, add this. That might do it. So basically everything that's in this auto spawn list defines the things that can be synchronized. I'm still like that. So multiplayer client. And so since this is in that list, when you spawn it,
Because you don't want anything to escape.
Oh, sweet.
So if they went straight up, they would have. I'm thinking they might figured it out.
Yeah.
no longer asking.
They can well, we can find that out. Yeah. If you go to player.
That's awesome. First off, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Dude, figuring all this out the first time was so hard for me. That's why I'm like, I want to do a workshop. Okay, so player.
workshop.
Thank you.
Which is like so. And those like
Oh yeah, for sure.
Also appreciate it.
near South Station, they have those like
Yeah, no problem.
towers.
Well, just like 4 hours.
Oh
Yeah.
Each
Yeah, yeah. Show me what you got. Here we go.
breaking down.
What are we looking for? Oh, chat UI. So instead it's gonna be camera. So let's get a reference to our camera here.
Doing that.
What is it? Click and drag. You got it? All right. Oh, yeah. It was so hard doing it.
Yeah. I would fly it around and obviously I know it's in the yard or whatever.
It's just like fluid.
I mean,
There's something in there that just doesn't.
that should be cool.
It's just super light, and once you go into a certain height, like, it just takes it.
Oh yeah, there was a left on player, yeah. Oh really?
Yeah. I don't even know how I brought that up. Oh, because I was checking safety. Actually, this is my dad. My dad.
Oh, that's cool. I like the background.
Gonna work
We use it for
anywhere, which is
Baseball.
baseball.
Oh yeah, the default one, right? No, we deleted it.
Yeah. If I was the baseball team, I was in trouble. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good dad.
Yeah. It's a good bad dad joke.
Yeah, yeah. So it was funny because when we were
Oh,
LLM,
you're supposed to delete it before. Like,
just from the same video.
yeah, just straight from the scene tree. Yeah.
It was
Yeah. So you start with 0 players, and then once you hit host, it's like I need a player.
Do something back on that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Are you on the?
Oh yeah. You guys done?
I mean, it sounded pretty easy, but if you really.
Yeah, I think the workshop.
Yeah, let's connect.
Yeah. Kind of wish it.
You guys like tonight?
Yeah.
I had
Feedback.
I think you also sent me
Nice to meet you.
the web.
Oh yeah, the web components. So you made those web
I did, yeah.
components. Oh,
It was
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
experiment to try doing something that didn't react.
yeah, exactly. This should be Jordan.
All right, everyone. That is the end of the workshop. Thank you for coming. Thanks for coming to Godot Boston, and I hope you all learned something.